the casual viewer might expect, the semi-final is more of a chance to continue to score, isn't it? It's not like, okay, it's almost like a restart like you'd expect in any open indoor kart event. Everyone's scoring in the main races, and then of course we're down to the top 20 for the semi-finals. Top 30, sorry, for the semi-finals. We're going to have 3 semi-finals, and it's almost the right to keep scoring before we actually find out who is in the final itself. Of course, only 10 people are going to be in the final, so that's a tight call, that one.
You could actually rename the semi-finals Heat 5 effectively. It would mean the same thing. So yeah, it's an opportunity to score more points, and that after the semi-finals is when we look at the who's into the top 10.
Absolutely, and well, we're going to see some people looking to make that run to the semi-finals now. Is that Stefan Bohoster who's up at the front there? It does look like him, and well, we've got a real hard-hitting set. Is that Matthias Gruten, who's going to be third out to qualify? So some of the faster people are going to be the first ones to set their times. It is an outlap and then a qualifier, and then they'll be parking up. But see Arnaud Tinet near the back there. He's going to be the final qualifier. We're not expecting him to necessarily run at the front, but yesterday he did qualify third in that final race.
Yeah, Arnaud pulled it really pulled it out of the bag, considering he's 11 kilos over the weight limit as well. So he's looking to drop a further 10 kilos for next year. He did a great job to drop just over 10 for this year, and his performance has reflected that. Obviously, weight being crucial in indoor karting, any karting, which is why we have the strict 90 kilo minimum weight limit for everyone. So Arnaud outperforming his size at the moment, and I think we'll see him back stronger next year. I expect, though, this will be his last race of the championship for this year.
Yeah, unfortunately that could be the case. I mean, we talk about Arnaud Tinet. He is, as I keep saying, everyone's favourite Frenchman. He is very much the enthusiast of it. And actually, you know, when you're saying he's racing over the weight limit, he's surprisingly up for this, isn't he?
Yeah, he's actually a very good karter. He's not done a whole lot of competitive racing over the years. He's certainly never raced a car. He's never done any competitive karting aside from BRKC. And this is only his second attempt at that, but he's won the Simply Race 24 Hours twice. He's actually very skilled, and I think it's one of those things where if you spend your entire life, whenever you do race, doing it heavier than the other guys, you develop very good skills because you don't have a choice, otherwise you'll be off the back of the pack.
You are technically overcoming a handicap. I mean, the karts are all weighted up to a certain level, but Arnaud Tinet is 11 kilos over that level. Now, I don't believe in people saying, oh, well, you know, I'm too heavy to go karting, as Arnaud is proving. He was third in qualifying. You know, it does take skill. Simply Race, you were saying, though, that is virtual racing, isn't it? So, in other words, there's no physical handicap as such. It's just a racing brain, and if Arnaud can win there, it shows he's got a racing brain. Interesting, Arnaud is a technical man, more noted for being with the Ultran team, isn't it, Brad? With the and they effectively are the Peugeot factory team in motor racing, all kinds of touring endurance events, and Arnaud is one of their main boys there. So that's Arnaud Tinet. We've spoken a lot about him, but he was third yesterday. Anyway, we're onto the qualifying now. The karts are leaving the pit. Alex, are we looking to read anything into these opening laps of the qualifying?
Tough to say, really, James. I mean, it's about who can actually perform at the right given time, and you know, you've got an outlap. You've then got to put your best effort in to maximise your opportunity on the grid. I mean, Matt Barsh, dominant win, stuck it on pole. If he does that again, there's a possibility he will have some company, but whether he stays out front is another matter.
One thing I'd like to point out is the track has just changed. There's always a bit of dust on the track. It sounds really trivial, but it's absolutely not. It's such a slippery surface. When the barriers get moved, it kicks up lots of dust and dirt. So the guys who can cope with a slightly slippery circuit, colder karts where they've been sat for half an hour now as well, they're the guys that are going to come off well. And Matt Barsh has a massive slide as he starts his flying lap. That's going to affect him dramatically.
Yes, that's not going to help Matt Barsh at all. In a rental kart, you really can't afford slippage one little bit. And there's another sliding around. That looks like Luke Hornsby. He's come off that final turn with a huge power slide. In fact, they're all sliding around. Is there something going on?
I think it's just the cold tyres from the karts being sat for a while. So whoever can cope with that the most and minimise the sliding is the one that's going to come off on top. So after the first lap, I think Tom Golding is the one. Arnaud Tinet actually sets the fastest first lap. Impressive there from Arnaud. And then it goes Annalena back to the top.
Absolutely. So this first lap is... Oh, they've called it. They've called it. Qualifying has been stopped. We're not entirely sure right now, but just while we're figuring out what's going on with the qualifying, just while we're figuring out what's happening with the qualifying, I want to go back to those temperatures. What's interesting, Brad, we've gone back to the original layout. Now, what that means is, although we are using the same racing surfaces, they're not going to be driving a racing line on the same bit of all of the surface. So some parts of the track are going to be warmer than others, and it's going to be interesting who figures that out, and whether, in fact, people are using a slightly varied line.
Of course, this version of the track hasn't been used in about 24 hours or so it really won't be right up to temperature, clean, rubbered in, all of those things which can play into a one-lap qualifying session. Absolutely
interesting there. We saw the 17 kart, that is... who's in the 17?
That's
Tom Golding. Actually did a practice pit stop coming into the pits there. So any opportunity these guys can get to practice things like the pit stop is quite clearly taken.
Tom Golding's gesticulating to Arnaud Tinet in the pits there, you can see on camera. So I think they might be talking about the driver in front of them and whether or not he's going to hold them up on their qualifying lap. So we're just finding out why the qualifying was delayed. So I'm going to let James explain this.
Right, well, basically what it boils down to is that someone did lose control on that lap somewhere out on the track, and of course when the yellow lights come on, people are slowed down for that. So as they've been slowed down on the qualifying lap, it's not really a qualifier, is it? So they just bring them all in and they're just going to make it running again. So somebody spun, everyone's forced to slow down under that, and they all slow down to the same speed. So it's not really a relevant time. It looks on time-wise, Sebastian Raikkonen, because 46 seconds would be mightily off the pace, wouldn't it?
And that would also explain why Tom Golding was gesticulating in the pits to the kart in front, because that is Sebastian Raikkonen. So I think he was probably explaining to his competitors what just happened, and I think it's Sebastian Raikkonen who's lost control. In fact, very, very rare for that kind of thing to happen in BRKC. You don't tend to see really any crashes or spins or anything like that, aside from Oliver Baiani spinning in celebration after the race last night, and the occasional crash that happens during an overtaking move.
Yeah, I mean, it could be argued that the biggest crash we've had all weekend was the winner trying to celebrate after getting first place, and that was Kim Henson. Sorry, carry on.
And that was the one that went most viral on Facebook and probably other platforms, too soon to be decided.
Absolutely, because it was arguably the most hilarious thing we've ever seen in BRKC. Right, meantime, we've got the qualifying is resumed, and round they go. We saw Matt Barsh have a bit of a sliding start to his qualifying lap. He'll probably be the one most grateful, and Luke Hornsby, for the fact they get a second stab at it, Alex.
Definitely. I mean, as Brad said, the dust that's been kicked up, they're having to revise to the original track layout as well. So whilst they've been using the reverse layout, they've had to fight through that. So it adds a bit of a different dynamic as well. So it will just show who's able to sort of regroup, and as Killian Studder's just done it looks like we're just waiting for the times to come through slowly but surely, and as they're all trying to put their best out on there, with Matt Barsh going on a 35.7.
Yeah, these are the outlaps that we're seeing. They're all on a qualifying now. The outlaps do give us a bit of an idea as to who's really trying on that outlap and almost a practice qualifying. But they're all on their genuine qualifying now. We're going to see him come through. Okay, the first one is Matthias Green, 34.8. That is ballistic. He's been beaten by Matt Barsh, 0.2 of a second. Annalene Boutsen's in second, Grooten out third, the double world champion. Luke Hornsby up to fourth, great showing there. Killian Studder is in fifth, but Stefan Hofstad could be the big risk here. Stefan Hofstad sixth now, but I'm thinking that's going to be a bit higher when he's done. Tom Golding into sixth, and Stefan Hofstad up to sixth now. I thought he was going to crack the top five, but no. Brett Gaskin is in seventh, and that's ahead of Tom Golding with Arnaud Tinet and Sebastian Raikkonen in 10th.
And remember, that's the kart that won the previous race, kart number 16, with one of the double grand final podium finishes for BRKC. So Stefan Verhofstadt not having a good qualifying session, and in a race like this, that means being a couple of tenths off the pace, so that's good enough to put him down in sixth. So not ideal for Stefan. And right now, Matthias Grooten is looking like, unless he pulls something out of the bag in the race, he's going to lose his 100% win record. At the moment, it's just him and Ruben Boutens on 100% wins. So this could be crucial for deciding the places in the final if they also win in the semi-final.
Absolutely, and this is going to be a fairly tough heat, particularly from Stefan Hofster's point of view. Stefan Hofster, he has Kilian Stodder and Luke Hornsby in front of him, two drivers we wouldn't really expect to be ahead of him. He is in a kart that's won the last race, so surely there's no question there. Obviously, maybe there's been a bit of a moment somewhere for Stefan Hofster. He might have just lost a little bit of time. Dead easy to do, especially with the track temperatures being cold. However, Matt Barsh, now Matt Barsh is he's really on form. We saw him with that storming victory earlier. 14 seconds to the good. However, he's never going to have it that easy this time. He's got Annalene Boutens behind him. She's a former ladies world champion. He's got Matthias Gruten behind him. He's a double world champion. And these two are not going to let him get away with it. If he wins this race, he will have had a fight on his hands.
Definitely, and it would have been well earned as well, James, to be honest with you. But yeah, I mean, the top three, that's going to be a really, really good fight. Depends on what Matt Barsh does first of all. If he pulls a gap on Annalene and Matthias, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, guys, are we going to have just pick a winner on this one, the three of us? So we've got Brad Philpott and Alex Goldsmith. I'm James Auld. Brad, who are you going to go for as the winner?
It's going to be Barsh.
Barsh for Philpott.
Barsh.
Okay, Barsh. I was going to say Barsh, but you know what? That's the first time in my life I've ever bet against Matthias Gruten.
It's just the pace of the guys.
Absolutely. Well, talking of pace, here they are on the final pace run. Barsh is on the gas really early. May they call this? Will they give this a false start? He's certainly got a flyer. Is it good? It's good. But that's the biggest start we've seen. And Matt Barsh has done exactly what he needed to do. He's got Annalene Boutens very fast behind him. Matthias Gruten very fast behind her. And Luke Hornsby is already being gapped a little bit by Gruten. There's a bit of a three-kart breakaway here. There's the gap there to Hornsby. And Kilian Stodder looking good in fifth. Keep an eye out for Stefan Hofster behind. But there's Barsh showing at the end of the straight. He's got the kind of lead he wants. There's Ruben Boutens at the side there, waving his advice. He's got his friends and his sister down there in the top three.
Yeah, electric start. He really thought I've got to do the jump on it, and he's done that. And we're just waiting for I think it's at least 3 kart lengths between him and Annalene. It's nearly a second, and Matthias Gruten's not that far behind Annalene, so he could be pushing. In terms of lap pace, of course, the top 3 are the only 3 in the 34s at the moment, with Luke Hornsby on a 37.6, with Kilian Stodder actually 2/10 quicker than him on that time around.
Absolutely, and Matt Barsh, that start was epic. The key thing of it was that was about the best start you're ever going to get in a rental kart race and get away with. Brad, I was thinking they were going to call it, but they didn't. It was clean. We've got someone in the pits already. Who is that? Tom Golding into the pits. Golding pits out of, well, I think it was 8th place. That drops him to 10th. Now, he obviously feels he's going to be better running on his own. He had Brett Gaskin in front of him, and, well, we'll see what Tom can do now. Brad, do you think that's a good call?
Yeah, he tried it earlier. It nearly worked for him. Provided the other karts around him don't immediately pit, I think he should work for him if he thinks he's quicker than the karts in front. I'd like to point out the top 3's pace are all in the 34.5 now, so Gruten and Boutens have managed to work out how to get around their karts' particular handling peculiarities, whatever they may be, and they're now managing to keep in exactly the same pace as the race leader. Oh, and we have Brett Gaskin making another early pit stop. So let's see where Brett comes out. Is he going to come out in front of Golding? He is. That hasn't worked out for Tom. I imagine Tom will manage to pass him, though. Tom generally quite a bit faster than Brett.
Just want to jump to the front of the field. We're going even faster now. We've got 34.3, 34.3, 34.4, and it's Annalene Bouten who's fastest on the track right now, albeit by 200ths of a second. Here they come. It's Matt Barsh, Annalene Bouten, and Matthias Gruten. Now, the race really is looking like it could be between Bouten and Gruten for last place. Barsh is doing everything he needs. Matthias Gruten, the double world champion, is now the fastest on the track. It's jumping from one to the other on those top 3. Amazing.
So I'm very pleased. It's not going to be quite as we predicted. It's not going to be a walkover for Barsh at all. The guys behind him have the pace, so this is actually going to be a very interesting race for the win.
Absolutely. We need to look a little bit further back, because still down there in 6th place, Stefan Hofster. We know he's better than this. Can he get close to the front? He's already working on the back of Kilian Stodder. He's got Luke Hornsby with the best will in the world. Hornsby and Stodder are not quite at the Hofster's pace or class, and although they are fine drivers in their own right, will the Hofster come through? He has won many, many races.
I think Verhofstad's watching his final hopes slipping away right now. 6th place after a 4th place yesterday just isn't going to be good enough for him to make the final unless something very strange happens in the semis. So I think Stefan needs to make something happen to give himself any hope of getting any further in the competition.
Absolutely, and Annalene Boutens, Matthias Gruten absolutely matching each other for pace exactly on that last lap. And who's come up to 7th place? everybody's favourite Frenchman, it's Arnaud Tinet.
Yeah, he's doing a good job out there, and also hats off to him. Like we were saying, 11 kilos over the weight limit, still showing that despite having that weight ballast as a pace defector, it's the skill behind the wheel, and he's showing that in spades.
And with Arnaud Tinet, that's 11 kilos of pure enthusiasm. As Matt Barsh comes down the back stretch here, he's got Annelien Boutens looking at him, Matthias Grooten. Those three are breaking away. Here's Luke Hornsby. Luke Hornsby doing great ahead of Kilian Stodor. They're doing a great job to keep Stefan Mahofster back. Stefan Mahofster knows he needs to get past these two, but it's just not happening for him right now. Luke Hornsby, Mahofster's coming in bits. Maybe he feels like he's being held up there. His first stop is good.
And we've just seen Matt Barsh do a 34.044, literally. And Grooten and Boutens are 11/100ths of a second on pure lap pace. This is what we want to see. Rental Kart Championship racing, and it's very, very best.
Absolutely, they've both got it down to 34.0. Who's going to be the first to 33? They are absolutely neck and neck on times. There's nothing to choose, cancelling each other out. Right, Stefan Mahofster has dropped to 8th as a result of his pit stop. We'll see if he can come through. We've got another pit visitor. Just going to check out who that is. I think that's Kilian Stodor. 33.8 from Annelien Boutens, the first one to get into the 33s, but Stodor has pitted out of 5th and is going to go down the order. That puts Arnaud Tinet up to 5th place now. Sebastian Raikkonen in 6th, and Stefan Mahofster up to 7th at the expense of Stodor coming out the pits. Barsh still leads from Annelien Boutens and Matthias Grooten as we speak. Here's Luke Hornsby on his own.
And it's quite funny that Annelien's actually faster than her brother already today, so there's some... Yeah, so... Yeah, that would explain it, but it's great to see that we've got Annelien actually leading the way in terms of pure lap times in this race, because it's not that, when you think about between the top three, there's only 2 tenths in terms of pure lap pace separating, but the gap between them is 1.3 seconds.
Absolutely, and talking of the Boutens, they are a very strong Dutch racing family, and Annelien and her brother are normally very close on lap times, and when one's racing, the other one's normally trackside, waving them on and giving their advice and tips and signs and all kinds of things. Meantime, though, we've still got Matt Barsh. He's now 33.9, Bouten's 33.8, and Grooten 33.8. The two followers are faster than the leader. He's just coming up on about that now.
That's Sebastian Raikkonen.
It's Sebastian Raikkonen who's running 10th. Now, Barsh is through. Now, if he couldn't have got through, now would have been the time to pit, would it, Brad?
No, I don't think that would have been the time to pit, because as we found out, the last person in a close group is the one that comes out with the track position advantage as one of their stock groups. So I think he'll be wise just to stay out. And actually, Barsh has pulled a little bit of a gap. I think Annelien made a mistake there in the last corner.
Yeah, looking at the times, they're still pretty close, but it was personal best. But Annelien's got the slowest of those times.
And Grooten's gone up the inside of Bouten just then, I think.
Grooten's gone up inside to 2nd place, has he? Yes, he has. Now that's interesting. Annelien Bouten's lost some time on that previous lap. She dipped into the 34s while the others were all on 33. So something obviously happened, maybe a bit of a slide, caught the wall, something like that. Grooten has gone through into 2nd place, and as you saw.
And here's the replay, and that's a brilliant move by Grooten. Clean up the inside on one of the hairpins.
Absolutely, though. Annelien blocked out on that one. She had to give way. Now, that has given Barsh a momentary advantage. He's responded by setting a new fastest lap.
Yeah, 33.8 33.841, which is pretty impressive with the top 3 trading fastest laps.
Grooten's got some work to do now, because where we've gone from having a very, very tight gap between 1st and 2nd, there's now a decent gap. Grooten's actually having to defend. Has he settled for 2nd place now? Is he going to just try and bank that 2nd? Annelien's gesticulating, she wants him to just go, but they're kind of letting Matt Barsh get away with this now.
Absolutely. The last couple of laps, Barsh has been on 33, and Grooten and Annelien Boutens have been 34, 35 respectively. They're on 34s now. They are losing time to the leader. The question is, are they going to work together to catch up with the leader, Barsh, or are they going to try and go for 2nd place points of their own?
We've seen it in a couple of races already earlier on this morning, where even though 2 have been battling, they've actually been fast enough, and Grooten's still defending there from Annelien, so he's keeping her at bay. Just trying to make sure that he doesn't allow enough gap for her to get through at a particular point on the track. But as I was saying, there were multiple battles where we were seeing people actually pushing each other forward whilst battling away, and that's really great to see as well.
And it's not often that we see double world champion Matthias Grooten having to go defensive. And when we saw on the backstretch there, Groten was going defensive as a matter of course. It's not like he looked over and saw Annalene was there. He just immediately went defensive. Will he do it again? He's not even looking. Yes, he looks there, and he sees that he's to the Annalene Boots to the right. But it's not often that we see Groten having to defend.
This is a clear marker to me that Matthias has decided he cannot win. He's just going for second place. He wants to consolidate this. He maybe saw the one opportunity to pass Annalene, he took it, and now he just wants to keep that position. And to be fair to him, he's won all the races he's done so far. He can afford a second place, and as long as the semi-finals half decent, he's going to be near the front in the final. So maybe he's just a little bit of strategic thinking here. Second's better than third, and he's in second right now.
Annalene Bouten's there, working on the back of Matthias Groten. She's giving a bit of a breather. Saw her just catch the inside of one of the hairpins back there, slightly unsighted, and it's given a bit of space to Matthias Groten. He's got 2 car lengths lead, but that's the reason, because Annalene Bouten's caught the inside of one of the hairpins. Now, the question of this is, will we see Annalene Bouten's actually pit if she feels Groten is no longer really interested in the win and is going to go for second?
Well, if she thinks she's quicker than him, and she can't find her way through, and he doesn't want to let her through, then it might be sensible to do that. But I'd imagine that Matthias will just cover it by doing a pit stop immediately afterwards, so it's a tough one.
And we got a new fastest lap, race lap by Matthias Barsch. He's up at the front there. He's running 33.7. And really, how can you ever say walking away with a race when you're talking about second place, double world champion Matthias Groten and ladies champion Annalene Bouten? It's hard to say somebody's walking away from these two, but Barsch is the man who's doing it.
He is indeed, and with the win that he had earlier on, where it's a 14-second gap if I remember correctly, even with a pit stop, he just casually just pumped in the laps consistently and did the job, which is what he's doing now. He's got a gap of nearly 3.2 seconds at the moment.
Okay guys, if I can cut in a second, let's have a look here. We've got 33.7, 33.8, 33.7 from the top 3. If we look down to 8th place, we've got Tom Golding. Best lap time, 33.8. He's right on the leader's pace.
As well. In fact, the guys at the back, although they've been dropped away by the rest of the field, they're actually not far off in terms of pace, but it's the ability to do that pace every single lap and improve upon it when they can.
Oh, and we've got someone in the pits, that's Arnaud Tinet.
Okay.
Gaps out to 3.5 seconds at the front, so Matthias Groten going defensive again in that last lap. Watching into the hairpin of this lap, defensive again, so once again giving a big lead to Matt Barsch, and it's going to be a battle for second here. That's the important placing in this particular race. I think the lead is gone unless Barsch screws up his pit stop.
Absolutely. Now, Brad, would it be fair to say the kind of defending and attacking without pitting that we're seeing from Groten? Here's Luke Hornsby pitting out in 4th place. The kind of defending and attacking we're seeing from Groten and Annalene Bouten are indicative of 2 people who are not going for the lead now. They're just trying to finish ahead of the other, which is in this case 2nd place, as Barsch sets a new record lap for this race.
Yeah, Barsch has gone, no pressure. He's got a good cart under him. He's just pumping in the lap times. He knows that the guys behind him are battling, so he can now relax. Concentrate on doing a good pit stop. No pressure to do a fast pit stop either. He can still come out in front of him. It's all going to be about the strategy now between Matthias and Annalene. Whether one of them can pass the other on track or whoever does the best pit stop.
Absolutely, Brad. How are you reading this, Alex? Annalene Bouten has caught back up with Matthias Groten, and as they come on the backstretch, we've seen pretty defensive driving from Groten down here.
Yeah, he's been doing that all race long.
Oh, sorry, can I cut in? If you look to the left on that picture, as they come out the hairpin, you see Ruben Bouten, and he's watching Annalene and his friend Matthias Groten working their way around. Again, they're looking for second. Sorry, Alex, carry on.
Yeah, I mean, Annalene's sort of just trying to read it, and whilst I'm saying that, there's a nice little battle between Kilian Stordare and Tom Golding for 6th place at the moment, while Stefan Verhoeft is now up into 4th. But yeah, Annalene's sort of trying to read what Matthias is doing, and it's not quite paying off. She needs to have that little bit more of an advantage going down the back straight, which is probably her best opportune time. She's trying to go around the outside as they're coming down the back straight now. So we'll just see how it pans out and whether she decides to pit later than he does, but try to get the jump on.
Absolutely, and Stefan Verhofstadt, who's moved up to 4th place, is actually 2nd fastest on the track. This is good news for him, and incredible being first. Will he be able to catch up with Bouten's battle? What is also interesting is the top 7 are all running within 0.3 of a second of each other. So although Matt Barsch is appearing to walk away with the race, his best lap is only 0.3 of a second faster than the one running 7th, Kilian Stordare.
So if this few tenths per lap, he is at the moment, he's actually going to be right near these guys. 14-second gap this 11, he's with them. So let's keep an eye on that.
Yeah, that's very interesting, Grant. And what it really boils down to, for those viewers online who've been following this, is that now that we've got Matthias Grooten and Annalene Boutens fighting away, their actual biggest problem may not be catching Matt Marsh. It may be avoiding being caught by Stefan Holster. The best part of it, they might not realise this.
At the moment, they're okay. But the moment they have a failed overtaking move, in fact, Bouten's into the pits, but if they were to keep fighting, that's when the Hofster's going to get on the advantage. I think Annalene may have just headed that one off at the pass.
Absolutely, and that was a strategy called, we could just see in the corner of our screen, by her brother Ruben Boutens, the 3 times British champion, going for 4 this weekend. He actually made a gesture to Annalene coming off the end of the backstretch this time. Annalene straight in the pits. I think Ruben has seen the incoming Stefan Hofster, indicated to his sister she needs to get in and sort this out right now.
Just need to see now if Matthias Grooten pits on this lap. I'd expect him to. That would be the start of the pits now.
Yeah, Grooten's in this time. He's obviously responding to Annalene Boutens. Now, this is the big question. There's Verhofstadt. You can see he's got sight on Boutens. So Bouten's there, Verhofstadt's here, and Grooten's still in the pits. Grooten's trying to come out of the pits. Surely he's going to do good. In fact, he may have made up some ground. But look, here comes Annalene Boutens with momentum. She's closing down on Matthias Grooten. Here's Grooten into the picture. Here's Annalene Boutens. But look at this. Stefan Verhofstadt closing in on the pair of them. He is running fast.
I think actually Annalene's strategy there has let them both off the hook, because given a few more laps of fighting as they were, you can see Stefan would have been with them or potentially past them. So I don't think Annalene had much of a choice. And great call from Ruben if he was the one in the picture right now.
There he is. He's just waving to Annalene, telling her it's 5 minutes. You called it right, Brad. And yes, well, we could say Annalene's strategy, or because it was seen from brother, was it in fact the strategy of 3 times champion Ruben Boutens that actually has saved both their necks.
This is something that I expect to see as the years go on more and more from some of the British contingent as well. There's no rules against teammates strategising with other teammates and helping them out. As long as you're not physically impeding other drivers, you can stand at the side of the track and gesticulate all you want. So maybe some of the British guys will start kind of helping each other out with that in the future.
Absolutely. In the middle of all of that, I believe Matt Barsh may have pitted. He's pitted, so now we're getting a real indication of where they are. Here comes Barsh. No, sorry, that's not Barsh. There's Barsh going away from us now around the hairpin, coming back towards us. As they come out to the snail section, we're going to see in real terms what the gap is. So here comes race leader Matt Barsh. There he is, onto the backstretch. It's going to be Barsh, and we'll see in the background Grooten, followed by Boutens, and then Stefan Olsen. So there's leader Barsh. Second, Matthias Grooten, double world champion. Ladies world champion, Annalene Boutens behind. And here comes the amazing Stefan Olsen. He is in pursuit.
One thing I'd like to point out is that the fastest lap from first all the way down to 6th are all within a tenth, maybe less than a tenth. So super close karts, super close drivers, and poor Tom Golding doing a great performance there, pretty much matching the leader's pace. He's down in 6th.
He is down in 6th, but when we were looking on the backstretch, we caught sight of him. So we started off with Barsh going through. If we can have a look at the backstretch, we're going to see Barsh coming down it. There's Barsh. Now, if the producer stays with us, we'll see Barsh in the lead. We'll see Grooten and then Boutens and then Verhofstadt. But look in the background. Here comes Luke Holsby, and there is Tom Golding we'll talk about in the blue. So Tom Golding in 6th place. He's not out of this picture, and that means nor is anyone else in front of him.
So he might be potentially moving up into the top 5 if he can make a move on Luke Holsby. But he was telling me earlier on he was finding it difficult to overtake on track, which is probably why he did that early pit stop, trying to make some of his moves in terms of just outpacing them on the opposite side of the track and hoping his strategy pays off. I think it's worked a little bit for him, but if he wants one more place, he's going to have to do a proper pass on track on Luke Holmesby.
Absolutely. Here comes Matt Barsh, but guess who's fastest? Fastest on the track at the moment is Stefan Verhofstadt. Here he is in 4th place. He really is in pursuit of the leaders there, and man on the move. That's Stefan Verhofstadt right there in 4th. There are just under 3 minutes to go. Maybe not enough time for Stefan Verhofstadt. That may be a difficult one to argue with him, though.
One of those difficult things in any other championship or race or something that was taken a bit less seriously than BRKC, you'd say that probably Verhofstadt would have a chance to catch up over the next few laps, but everyone's so consistent at the front. It's not enough to be half a tenth quicker, because the guy in front is probably just going to go slightly quicker than you on the next lap. It's all such tight margins that it's going to take something different, something like an overtaking manoeuvre to really help him close up.
Stefan Verhofstadt has beaten his previous best. He's going faster with every lap. Alex, what can we read into this?
Well, when you think about it, the people that Verhofstadt again has done every single lap. He's pushing. He's 1.4 seconds behind Annalene. She's not too far away from him on pace, but Grooten's holding her and him up quite badly. So Verhofstadt's got an opportunity potentially. If it all goes wrong with Grooten and Boutons having a collision in the next 2 minutes, God forbid, we've got a potential for Stefan Verhofstadt to get second place.
Might be some defending going on from Matthias Grooten within the next 30 seconds or so, which then might help Verhofstadt close up, but let's see, there's not long left.
The gap's really getting visual now. Here comes Matthias Grooten second. Here's Annelien Boutons, but there's Stefan Verhofstadt. And Verhofstadt faster again. Every lap he's doing, he's getting quicker and quicker and quicker. And Matthias Grooten and Annelien Boutons are doing their best, but Stefan Verhofstadt, absolute searing pace. He's in 4th place. Surely, I think he's going to run out of time, but he's putting a heck of a fight there in 4th place, just going out of view. Here he is in the background. He's almost on the tail of these. It's nearly a 3-way fight for second.
That's it was going to wind up towards the end, you know, that Stefan Verhofstadt was going to have the red mist descend down as he again does a 33.356 just then. So, which is brilliant just to see that. I think, when was it? He started 6th, I think, on the grid. So to show the pure pace that he's able to put through, he's beating the top 3 in terms of lap time, and that's just showing how good he is as a karter as well.
I think he's going to be disappointed that with a kart that's capable of those times underneath him, he didn't show that pace in qualifying. Sometimes people just don't quite get everything out of the car, and some of the competitors do. I think he'll be kicking himself, but with a kart capable of fastest lap of the race, he only qualified 6th.
Absolutely. Qualifying is the bit that got him. Matt Barsh may be winning the race, but by heck, Stefan Verhofstadt the fastest one out there. He's now on the tail of the Grooten and Boutons battle. So here they come. Matthias Grooten on screen. There he is. Annelien Boutons and Stefan Verhofstadt. He's making a race of this. He's going to be one person who wishes this race was 2 or 3 minutes longer than it is. Surely this is the last lap now. And here comes the checker flag. It's going to be Matt Barsh. Now, what a win here. This is a heck of a win over Matthias Grooten, Annelien Boutons and Stefan Verhofstadt. So a really good showing there by Matt Barsh. We've been concentrating on the others, which is what happened last time. Matt Barsh made it look like a runaway victory. Last time he made it look like a runaway victory, we practically ignored him then. And, well, bit of bumping and boring behind. But Matt Barsh, I'd say, is... that's a very strong performance up against that the group he was with.
We called it at the start. We said we thought from that pole position he was probably going to be strong enough to, and we've got some nice congratulating each other.
I think congratulating each other actually ended up running into each other at this point, didn't it?
Potentially. But yeah, we called Matt Barsh as the potential winner at the start, but it wasn't quite as easy for him, particularly at the start, as we thought. Eventually winning by 3.8 seconds, nowhere near the kind of margin he's had previously, and that is with a very much defending Grooten and Boutons behind him. So not an easy race for Barsh, but he made it work, did the right thing, and I think that was probably the maximum result for Grooten in second there as well.
Absolutely, and showing real class even at the end of the race there. A practice pit stop coming into the pits after the race. Matthias Grooten and Luke Hornsby. It's there's no time when you stop being perfect, is there?
No, you have to do everything you can when you get the opportunity, and doing these practice pit stops, James, are key to making sure your strategy works, depending on what part of the championship it is. When it comes to the business end, and especially when we come to the semi-finals and the final, that's going to be the key telling point, because it's not just the pace, it's when you decide